Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Showdown, the largest international curling event in Canada this season. We're so glad you decided to join us to watch some of the top teams from around the world participate in this event. My name is Jesse Hamonic, and I'm the Vice President and Country Head of Nutrien Ag Solutions Canada. Like farming, curling brings our communities together, and Nutrien Ag Solutions is committed to promoting the diversity of sport within the communities where we work and live. We're so grateful to the Western Showdown team for allowing us to partner with them to bring you this event, and I want to wish you all, the teams, a safe and successful event.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Curling Showdown. We're so glad you've decided to join us to come see some of the world's best curlers participate in this event. My name is Jim Grundy. I'm the branch director for RBC Dominion Securities here in Swift Current. Our branch is not only a huge fan and support of curling in our community, we're also proud to support the 2023 Nutrien Ag Solutions Western Curling Showdown, as RBC is committed to working with our community to promote and celebrate vibrancy in sport in the community in which we live. Thank you to everyone on the organizing committee for putting this great event together, and on behalf of RBC Dominion Securities, enjoy the tournament.
Saskatchewan, you know SaskTel because we're everywhere. Because being everywhere keeps us connected to you. With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be part of your community. We're here with you, and we're here for you. It's easy to get started. All you need to do is apply. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit sastel.com/sponsorships.
Go see if I've got sound. We're live at the Swift Current Curling Club. We have Team Edin against Team Laycock. We're about halfway through the first end. Edin has hammer, one of the top four. Laycock has one back eight. Edin's calling for a tap out on it. Hits it at the back, and it appears to be Laycock signaled that it's not in the ring, so he's calling for a hit, nose hit for the one at the top four. Heikert delivering. He'll be watch for the jam. Catches a small piece, but not enough to remove it, and puts themselves in a little bit of trouble. He did kick it over behind corner guard. So Edin is deciding to go around the corner to our right as we look at it. And it appears that draw was just a little bit heavy, so Laycock will now attempt to draw, freeze, or maybe hit. They're discussing it. The rock's about half open with clockwise turn. Sean Meacham delivering the stone. Wind time making it curl over. And Meacham gets a nice hit and roll behind the corner. Edin will try a freeze to the stone that Meacham just put in the rings off the hit and roll. Delivered that stone. And puts it on top of the Laycock stone. So now Laycock will try to return the shot and freeze on Edin's stone. Meacham playing third, delivers his second stone. Rubs on the guard and rolls into the rings, but he'll be sitting second and third shot. Edin has shot and will elect to draw to the right side of the sheet as we're looking at it, somewhere in the 8 foot. Erickson delivering his last stone. Rushers are just looking at it. His draw a little heavy, so it'll be the fourth shot stone. Laycock's going to try and do a hit roll to center, it looks like. Or that's what they're discussing, him and Sean Meacham. So Steve Laycock will try the hit red and pull towards center, trying to get behind his own stone at the middle of the 12 foot. Looks like this may overcurl for what they're trying. And he does jam, and leaving Edin shot rock at the back 8. Edin's probably going to make a play on one of the yellows and try to bring the one that's in the back right as we look at it, back right of the house, bring it into play. This is Edin's first stone. He has hammer. It looks like Edin's rock is overcurling as well. Maybe not. Well, he just squeezes by. Doesn't get the roll towards center he was looking for, but still a good shot. Laycock will now have to make a play to try and be shot here, or a roll behind his own. He doesn't set up a double. Hopefully for him. He could be trying for the double here too, not exactly sure. So he does remove the stone, but not sure if Edin will take on the double here or just try and hit and roll for 2. If he takes on the double, the top stone could deflect and go on to the catcher at the back. If he executes this perfectly, he could get a 3 under. Stone is on its way. Good speed. Looks like it's going to overcurl, but for the double anyway. And it'll be a single for Laycock, I believe. Missed the double. Risk reward. Tried for 3 and ended up getting 1.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster.
Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here. and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Welcome back to Swift Current. Second end underway. Niklas Edin, Steve Laycock. Laycock with the steal in the first. Hans Brown up along with Clayton Wicks. Clayton, a bit of a gamble there for Nick in the first, but you have to try it, don't you? Shot for three, didn't come off for him.
Exactly. First end, giving up a point is nothing real big. It was worth the gamble to try for three. If he gets a three, it's great. He's off to a good start. But giving up one, it really doesn't change his strategy at all.
Swinging around the corner guard. Looks like Laycock is going to follow that one down. Braden Grinheim. Apologies, Chris Hatchett. Definitely to it. Small bounce. Is it going to push it out of the rings? It will just hang around in third shot position. Pretty nice shot. Lively atmosphere in Swift Current, Clayton.
Yeah, for a Thursday afternoon on what you would think is a work day, it's pretty full in here.
Well, you got a lot of people can skive off work to get a chance to see an Olympic champion curling.
And hopefully my boss isn't logged into this broadcast, or I might be in trouble.
Well, your secret's safe with us, Clayton. Very nice down weight hit. Rolls a little bit underneath the corner as well, so Niklas Edin has got something going here in the second. Good angles as well, set up the jam if Steve makes a play at it. Chris Hatchett again playing this just gentle down weight. Well swept to get it by the guard. That's about as good as he could do on that one, Clayton.
Yeah, and Chris is getting pretty used to this ice. He's our general manager here, and as you're probably aware, he was on the team that is now going to won the Canadian Mixed.
Oh, that's awesome. You can't beat local knowledge, really, especially if you're an ice tech, right? You get to watch what's happening out there a lot. Learn the rocks.
The disadvantage being he is the GM, and he's been curling and doing GM duties at the same time.
Pulling triple duty.
Yeah, and a fireman.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, let's hope there's no Smoke and fire as the rocks go firing around the house. Terrific, terrific shot.
I haven't asked him what he does.
Rana.
I haven't asked him what he does in his spare time, but
it doesn't sound like he has any. You had an idea there of what this Niklas Edin team can do. If there's rocks in play and they don't like the looks of it, they just dial up the blast from Rasmus Rana.
Yeah, what we often think is sure somebody's going to have to score ends up being a wide open blank when the smoke clears.
Well, I think that's something that's really evolved in the sport in the last 5 years in particular.
Mm-hmm.
The big weight run backs with precision, really do rearrange ends. Nice gentle weight tap there. Still some corner guards for Niklas Edin to work with as he's got hammer here in end number 2, trailing by 1. Oskar Eriksson. Playing his out turn, left-hander. Love to leave that top floor. Get some good protection from that corner guard. That's in a pretty good spot. Might be showing a corner on the outturn side, just a fraction, but that's pretty close to perfectly buried, Clayton.
Yeah, Oscar was deep on his first draw on the first end, so that'll be Oscar's miss for the game.
That's true. Oskar Eriksson does not miss very many.
And I'm pretty sure Steve Laycock's thinking the same thing. We're not going to get that a lot of times.
That's true. Meacham trying to run back. Oh, terrific shot. Terrific shot. Got a 10-foot run back. Peels off the shot what Eriksson just delivered. And moves the guard closer to the center line. That's all good for Steve Laycock.
They can make those run backs look easy.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing. As an old school guy myself, when you'd make one of those a game and you'd think that's a heroic shot, and these guys make it every time out.
Yep, they're making run backs. We're just trying to hit a rock.
Exactly. Eriksson will try another draw around that guard. Much closer to the center line, though. Well clear of the guard. This one is going to slide deep. Steve Laycock is going to sweep it deep into the back 4, back 8. So another bit of a, let's call it a quarter miss there from Oskar Eriksson.
I was going to say we'll call it a quarter miss. Oscar's going to call it a miss in his diary.
Yeah, if Oskar misses by a pebble, he considers that a full miss. Steve Laycock's been playing a lot of mixed doubles recently, and so this is kind of a chance to apply some of that experience to this type of shot. Coming around a guard, sitting in front of a shooter. Trying to set up a force here. Richard and Grinheim on the brushes. And this one, we want to get it well in front, and a line is really important. Leaving a gap, I think there is enough room here for Niklas Edin to maybe make a play at it and angle tap and squeeze it at least. The question is he going to be thinking about playing for line first and third, or just trying to get his shot rock into position to set up a pair?
Yeah, I think that slot's open enough. He can probably get to half that.
And we talked about the prevalence of the run back shot, Clayton, and also now this is the other thing that's become really prevalent now with teams employing directional sweeping. These downweight shots where you're playing just round guards with just bumper weight. You sweep it to hold, and then they'll switch and they'll sweep to finish. And so even though that looks fully buried, I think you're right. I think there's a chance for Niklas to get at least to a quarter, maybe a half. Sundgren quickly on the inside line. Now he'll hand over
now
to
they'll
Rasmus.
Switch and go hard.
Well, just trying to hold that line straight. They like the line. And that's pretty darn good. And Niklas Edin lies too. Great touch. There's a double that Steve Laycock is looking at. A little bit of risk in that. If he could pinball things around and jam.
And even if he makes the double, it's going to be a pretty simple draw for Edin.
Well, this is it. So are you trying to eliminate the chance of a 2, or are you trying to set up kind of a force? I think a hit and looking for an inside roll is going to set up the jam all day on the one back right.
I think he's playing the double.
Yeah, it does look like the double to me as well. Old school big backswing there from Steve Laycock.
Should be close.
There's one and there's two. Terrific shot from Steve Laycock. That's a beauty.
And brings the force in.
Exactly. Delivers the force. So best possible start really for Steve Laycock. Stole one in the first, and now you're going to force Niklas Edin to take one. You're going to get the hammer back. It's like winning the last rock draw.
Mm-hmm.
A piece of the 8-foot required for Niklas Edin.
I've got a time on this for you.
Good stuff. Christopher Sundgren has got charge of the rock.
That was about 15-1. So the ice is nice.
Yep, nice pasty ice here in Swift Current, and Niklas Edin throws it on the button for the single point. What a terrific force from Steve Laycock. Nice double takeout to set it up. After 2 ends of play, we are dead even, 1-1.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet. And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to Swift Current. Third end is underway. Niklas Edin versus Steve Laycock. Scores are tied at 1. Steve Laycock has hammer here in the third. Hans Frauenlob along with you, along with Clayton Wicks. Very good start for Steve Laycock.
Yes, for sure. And then three, Edin throws up the center guard. Heaton decides to go in. A lot of people would throw up the corner, but he went in, and now he's going to go around the centers.
Braden Greinhunt. It's really the first chance for Steve to go on attack, really. I mean, he's played a very good first couple of ends to kind of get a little bit of control here in the game. Interesting to see how he's playing with hammer here in the third. Laycock playing the Yellowstones, lying 2. Those center guards are pretty inviting for Rasmus Brana. Usually when Niklas Edin sets guards, it's with an intention to use them.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to clog up that forefoot as much as he can.
Great line, but maybe a fraction heavy. It's going to slide into the back 4 anyways. It is shot.
Shot, but I think you're right, too deep.
Steve Laycock says, let's follow this one down. Rasmus showed us the way. Chris Hatcher, the busiest man in Swift Current by all accounts.
This weekend, anyway.
Good line, maybe a little bounce, sweeping now to finish it a little bit at the end. A small tap. Would have liked to just weld, but that little bounce creates a bit of separation for Niklas Edin. And Rasmus gets a chance to really throw one pretty much down the same path he threw on his first rock, Clayton.
Yeah. They're just watching it, so they're thinking it's a little warm too.
Well, this one is taking its time curling as well. Again, just a fraction heavy. That one curls another quarter of a rock and sits up another rock higher. That is golden, but leaves the door open a little bit here for Steve Laycock. But now Steve's saying, this is starting to look a little bit ugly. Let's do something with these rocks in the front.
Time to clean up.
Hatcher's going to try to double run the front. Gets rid of one. Niklas Edin quickly saying, yeah, let's get to the front of the button this time, guys. Intriguing third end. Edin sets up the center guards. Laycock went wing, and then the play quickly came around the center. And now Oscar Eriksson going to try to cozy one in there. Front button. Sweeper's working this one pretty hard. It looks a bit light. It will come to rest. Just biting front 8. Great line, but just 3 feet light. It's in an awkward spot, though, for Laycock to deal with.
Looks like he might have the double there, but I don't know if he wants to take it on or not.
Well, he's going to have to do something to move shot rock, that's for sure. Question is, what is that something? I kind of like that idea that Sean Meacham just had. Clip the outside of the yellow, punch that front red sideways. You might spin the yellow forward in the process.
And you'll have 4 rocks in the rings.
Exactly. Now they're taking a look at running the front. We don't like that as much. I mean, I think that does give you a chance to certainly score and maybe get 2, but probably only 2.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What do you like, Clayton?
I think I'd actually play the double with the one in the house. But that's why I'm up here. I do like why Laycock went in with his first one to the over on the side there. It's been sitting all by itself and nobody's ever looked at it, but they might be looking at it when the end's over.
Well, there's lots of combinations and permutations. We're down to thirds rocks now. So Sean Meacham, after some long discussion, does look like they're going to run the front stones. No bad call here. It's just a question about what you're trying to get out of the shot. Well, there he got the action.
Yep.
That was that pinball action I was talking about. So kind of a hybrid there. Didn't run the front, clipped the yellow, spun it forward, clipped out the shooter.
It did open it up, but I don't think he's pleased with the result. You know, you're looking at a potential force.
Well, that stone top left of the picture as we just saw it, Dean's counting third shot. So without counting that stone on the left-hand side of the picture as we see it. So that comes into play for Niklas Edin if he's thinking force, as he almost surely is right now. Three stones each to come here in the third. Oscar Eriksson. Taking a play to those 2 stones in the back 8. Just a gentle nudge. Removes the Laycock counter. And the Dean lies 1, 2, 3. Well, in the famous words of Ron Burgundy, this escalated quickly. Laycock went from a position of having a chance to maybe get a multiple or at least, maybe even a 3, and now he's going to be scrambling to score.
He might be able to get the double here with a little roll, but I think it's going to overcurl on him. Or was he after the one in the corner? He was.
Trying the Hackner double. Moved 2 rocks. Got rid of one at the back. I think he did move that one far enough to make that yellow counter third shot.
It appears so from here.
Yeah. So that's one positive out of that shot. Does set up a chance now if Niklas hits and kind of stays where it is. Laycock makes the double back. He could score 2. So just nudging that redstone on the right-hand side of the picture over on that shot is actually quite important for Steve Laycock.
Absolutely. It brings that 9 o'clock rock into play.
You were talking about it, Clayton. It's been hanging around out there on the side and waiting for something to happen. Well, that something just happened. Edin is going to try to leave this shooter somewhere to make a very difficult double back for Steve Laycock. Not easy, though. Not too many places you can go here. Right on the nose.
Looks like it's set up fairly well for him to be able to get his 2. He should be able to roll a little over and make that double almost impossible for Edin. I say almost here. I say almost impossible because with Nadine, nothing's impossible.
Well, that's true. I mean, really, I think the key thing for Steve on this shot is make the double. You're unlikely to roll to a perfect place, but as long as you're first and second, mission accomplished. You do not want to blow by that one in the back, though.
No.
Sometimes you can be thinking too much about the perfect roll and kind of forget about job 1 for the shot. Well, yes, no, yes, no. They must be close. Yeah. There it is. Beauty. Curling is a game that you play with your ears as much as with your eyes, and whenever you're hearing a third calling sweepers on, off, on, off, on, off on a hit like that, you're pretty sure it's mighty close, and that was a fine shot from Steve Laycock.
Edin could make it difficult here if he gets about a rock and a half roll to the right. It's going to be a tricky shot for Laycock.
Yeah, there is a short roll underneath here for Niklas Edin. That is one of my dear teammates always said, toughest shot in curling is a hit and roll when you need it.
He's close.
Got a little roll. Oh! And
2 rolls.
Players flying. Yeah, that's right. Rolls happening all over the place. Looks like some stones were touched in the process as well. Steve Laycock hit the frozen surface. And look at the result. What a fantastic roll that Niklas Edin did get.
I don't know if the out turn for Laycock for the double is there with soft one. It might be. I just don't know if it's that risk reward like Edin had first end.
Well, tough shot either way. Looks like they're looking at in-turn tap. He only has to move that rock maybe a foot to score 2. But you're going to have to just skinny that guard, and your weight's going to have to be perfect. It is going to have to be no more than back 8 to make the shot.
He's got to move the rock. He's got to move the rock a rock.
Exactly. Good news for Steve is really with that kind of weight, any kind of contact on the rock is going to be probably enough. As Don Duguid used to say, it's only a question of weight.
I'm guessing there's going to be some serious sweeping on this one.
No doubt. Hatchard and Grenham on the brushes. As Laycock tries to maneuver this stone around the corner guard. That's got a lot of curling to do. Sweeping for curl, but is it going to curl enough? No, it scoots by. Well, an thoroughly entertaining third end results in a steal for Niklas Edin. Laycock with a chance for two, just a bit heavy. Steal of one for Edin. He leads it 2-1 after three in Swift Current.
I've been farming on my own right for 40 years now, I think. It's a very wholesome enterprise. You have very, very busy periods when you have to go hard. So many of our windows are so tight that you just can't afford to miss a couple days of seeding.
When a producer places their trust in us, that when it's time for them to be able to make their living, we're going to be there. That's a tremendous responsibility that it's not a one-day-a-year thing, right? In order to actually deliver on that, you have to build your processes and you have to build your team and you have to have a mindset of operational excellence, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's our job to make sure that they don't go wrong. Or if they do go wrong, that we can fix it before it affects our customer.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
Welcome back to Swift Current. We've got a good old-fashioned arm wrestle going on here in our feature game. Niklas Edin versus Steve Laycock. Laycock stole one in the first and then forced Edin back in the second, but Edin with a steal in the third. And this one is seesawing back and forth. Hans Fraunhoff along with Clayton Wicks. Clayton, that third end, super entertaining, and the fourth end shaping up very similar, straight around the corner guard or center guards.
Yeah, the third end, Laycock went out to the wings when Edin threw up the center, but it was up a bit higher. This time it came tighter, and he had them sock one in behind to the top of the forefoot.
Red and Grinheim. This feels like one of these games where it's really going to be evenly poised. The advantage early. Swung to Laycock, but giving up that steal. He's tilted the equation very slightly back to Niklas Edin. Really nothing to pick in this game. Rasmus Rana. They're going to clip the center guard. Maybe just whiskered it. Comes to rest, full 12 foot. Good look from the delivery end. You can see those stones. Everything has got a piece behind that center guard.
Laycock still willing to play the first one to the 8 foot. He must be fairly comfortable with how it's building, or he could have peeled off the top.
Well, Steve's a really smart player, and he will know you're not going to out-defense Niklas Edin.
No.
You're not going to win games that way. So you need to take some risks, especially when you've got hammer, and be willing to mix it up. You might get scorched occasionally, but you're certainly not going to beat Niklas Edin if you're just trying to play up and down the sheet with him, that's for sure. Oscar's going to come down and have a look. A couple of options here for Team Edin. We're looking at running red onto yellow. Short angle run. I don't think they want to disturb those stones frozen yellow-red on the forefoot. So I think that's what they're talking about. You play these runs. Don't really want to unlock those stones on the forefoot in the process, though. Can also decide just to blow the end up and run the front, but that's not really Niklas's style, especially when he's got stones in good positions and good angles like I think he feels he has right now.
Yeah, if he was going to hit, he'd want to get rid of at least 2 yellow, so I don't think he's going to. And he just proved me wrong.
Yep, it will be the run on the center. They're talking about where they want to leave the shooter. That's the degree of precision in Niklas Edin's team. Not just run it back randomly. Run it back with precision. And where do you want to leave the raised rock? That's where all the discussion was pre-shot. Sprung further than I think they would hope. Did get the job done, removed the stone the top 12 foot, but I don't think they wanted to leave the raised rock out there on the wing like that. I think they were hoping to keep it somewhere in the center. But still a lot of danger here for Steve Laycock. Those 2 red stones lined up directly at shot rock.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's playing a bit of a jiggle here just to make those lose the line they have.
Yeah, I think he has to change the angles. Otherwise, shot rock is a goner at some point. Chris Leachert. Fourth end to play here in Swift Current. Steve Laycock with the hammer trying to just rearrange the angles a bit, and that's a pretty nice shot. Does leave yellow, yellow, yellow. Could probably remove 2 if Edin decides he wants to play it. That's the risk you take when you do try to change the angles. Sometimes the end result means that the angles are less good for you as well. Nose on the yellow looks pretty good to me, Clayton, if he can get there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's 2 yellows going out. With the angle they're at.
Oscar Ericsson's going to have to get quite near the center guard to make, though. A little inside out. Yeah, that's not a great shot from Oscar.
No.
You could just see that on release, Clayton. Just that little inside out delivery. Now something cooking here for Team Laycock. Four stones to come here for Steve Laycock, and now things are in quite an interesting position here. You don't want to mess it up now. Now you're just trying to set up the closeout. Now all of a sudden you're starting to think 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they need to get rid of the red stone yet.
I completely
Yeah.
agree. Reposition a bit. Maybe set it up so you can attack the red stone from 2 sides instead of just 1. For a moment, they might think about making a play around the outturn side and try to just nudge the red on an angle, but it will be down the in-turn side.
They can get to the inside edge of the one at the forefoot would be great. Don't think they'll get to the inside edge.
It's going to angle tap. Pushes his own stone to the front button. So Laycock now line 1, 3, and 4. Pretty straightforward double here, though, for Niklas Edin and Oscar Eriksson to have a look at. Just off nose. If he hits pretty much where the brush is, that will kill 2. And Oscar Eriksson wasting no time. Cleaner looking release this time. Sundgren on it immediately. And there they go. A little bit of venom in that one, Clayton.
Yeah.
Oscar was pretty unhappy with his first one.
He might have been zoned in.
I think so.
Well, if they can, and they definitely can, get to about a third of that top stone, you can get rid of the red and maybe have yellow sitting 1 and 2.
Well, for Sean Meacham here, I think you're right. He can push yellow directly into the red. He can also afford to go across the face of that red one because he's got a catcher out there in the wings as well. Key thing will be, where do you leave the shooter? It's going to be flirting with that guard. It's all over it.
I'm a little surprised at that. I thought they'd catch that a little sooner and at least get that yellow to roll onto the rings.
No, you're exactly right. Leaving that stone short of the rings, the shooter, definitely helps Niklas Edin, and that changes the complexion of this end completely. Now what looked like a tough force for Niklas Edin is looking much, much easier. Again, I love the way that Niklas and Oscar talk about these shots. Most people would just kind of throw the broom down and say, okay, yep, hit and just kind of roll it over here into the wing, and it'll be okay. Not Niklas and Oscar. They're talking about precisely where they want to leave the roll. Playing the fourth end, Niklas Edin with a narrow 2-1 lead over Steve Laycock. Laycock with the hammer here in 4. But Niklas Edin taking about half of this. Looked like he wanted to roll over and angle weld the stone on the right-hand side on the 8-foot. If we can make that, that's an almost guaranteed force. Lots of weight.
Getting it pretty thin, too. But he got it.
Well, he just winds up planting.
Here comes your blank in play already.
Well, yeah, that's not really what you wanted on that shot. Gosh, he threw a lot of weight at that shot, Clayton. Seemed unnecessary. winds up making a triple takeout, one of his and two of his own. But yeah, that's the difference between guaranteed force and potential blank ender. And if Steve gets really fortunate, he could make the double and get a little bit of action and maybe squirt in behind that one in the corner.
I guess
that would be a super bonus if he did that, but job one is to make the double takeout.
if he hits it fairly full, he could kind of roll on top of the other one too.
It's true. That would be a pretty good result. That could set up a 2. There's the hit. There's the inside roll. Does sit in front of it. Pushes the Edin stone not completely off the rings, but leaves a bit of a challenging angle for Niklas. He can see just all of the shot rock. So there will be an opportunity for Niklas to nose hit and lie too, but pretty good shot there from Steve Laycock.
Yeah, he can't really roll to our right very much as we look at it from the back of the sheet, to the left as you look at it from the front.
That's right, exactly. If he hits it brush side as we're looking at Oscar Eriksson, definitely going to jam. If you baby it all and it over curls, you've got the corner guard to think about. So Niklas, after that little bit of misfortune on his first shot, chance to redeem it here if he can nose hit. This one's moving. Boom. And that does hang around. Great shot.
You try the split?
Oh gosh, that is a long split.
The crowd says no.
Yeah. I played in the World Championships in 1999 when Hammy McMillan made a split kind of like that for the win, but you might do that if you needed to desperately in the 8th to get yourself the victory, but it'd be pretty high risk trying that split here, I think. For the younger listeners, when I talk about Hammy McMillan, I'm talking about Hammy's dad, not the player on Bruce Mowatt's team, who is, of course, Hammy's son. Steve Laycock just needs full 12 foot to score. Niklas Edin has got the force. Will he get the steal? Laycock just needs a good chunk of the paint. Sweepers already with their hands in the air. They're pretty happy with it. Oscar Eriksson makes a half-hearted attempt to sweep it out. No chance of that. Single point for Steve Laycock, and we are dead even after 4 in Swift Current. Edin 2, Laycock 2.
I've got the bill.
Well, now I've got the tip.
Standard tip increased 2% this year.
That's why I keep you around. So, corn's looking great. Well, our crop plan is working.
And we locked in that input financing at the perfect time.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year. I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
Welcome back to Swift Current. Hans Frauenlob here with you, along with Clayton Wicks. Niklas Edin and Steve Laycock are deadlocked 2-2 after 4 ends of play. It's been a seesaw affair. Forces, steals. Nobody has come up with a multiple with the hammer yet. Will that happen here in end number 5? Niklas Edin has got the hammer playing the Redstones here in the 5th.
Yeah, they've had lots of rocks in play. Every end it looks like it's going to be a multiple score, but when the smoke clears at the end, it seems somebody makes the shot to score the single.
Well, 2 stones in the kind of closest possible free guard zone area for Steve Laycock, just off the rings. The shake of the head from Niklas Edin. He says, yeah, I guess we got to go around. I'm not crazy about it, though. He doesn't really like where those stones are in the front. Christopher Sundgren. Scott Eriksson taking this one solo. Looking to wrap around his own stone. Gets maybe a corner hidden. Laycock quickly patting the broom, says, follow that one down, please. Chris Hatchert being given that task.
He didn't use up much thinking time calling that shot.
Well, clock management is such a big part of the sport now. And yeah, I really don't like it when teams overthink the obvious. You know the shot, and you're ready to call it, put your brush down, call it, play it. Good teams can really manage clock effectively that way. And a very nice shot there from Hatchard. Niklas says, okay, trying to deal with these front stones. Or is he going to make a play at the back? I think either play is okay. Make a play at the shot rock like it looked like you've decided to do. You're thinking multiple, you're thinking 3. If you're thinking score, or if you're thinking conservative 2, maybe you make a play at the front stones. But after some debate, Sundgren being asked just to follow this one down. And with Sundgren playing this stone, has Rasmus Rana suffered an injury, Clayton?
I don't know. It's I think they're always playing for 2. I don't think they bring more than that into play until later in the end.
Well, I thought for a moment that Rasmus Rana just wasn't sweeping because he was having a comfort break, but Sundgren delivering that 3rd stone. I do wonder if Rasmus is actually out of the lineup now and Edin playing with 3 players.
Yeah, maybe. That is a pretty lonely yellow in there, though.
Yeah, it was a nice shot by Sundgren. He certainly got the stone in front of Laycock's, second shot rock. So Laycock's got some real problems, but we'll try to find out if we can about the condition of Rasmus Rana. It appears to me like he's come out of the game entirely.
I guess maybe that's what the shaking hands was when it was maybe just him that was leaving. But I don't know
Could
why.
be. Yeah, well, maybe that was a conscious decision. It would be unusual just to find out if the... usually if a player goes out of the game mid-game, it's because of injury.
I guess they said he's headed to a chiropractor.
A chiropractor, oh dear. That is not good news. Rasmus has struggled with back pain in the past. So our well wishes to Rasmus Rana. That's terrible news, having to leave the game and some back pain.
Edin's team is no strangers to 3 curlers in competition, though.
Well, that is true. They are comfortable and have had some success playing with 3, but it's not what you want, that's for sure. Run back blows by everything and overlaps the front. So that's probably the worst possible outcome for Steve Laycock on that shot. Now all of a sudden, the Niklas Edin trio, as we'll have to call them now that Rasmus Rana's out of the game. And this is starting to feel like 3 or 4. Certainly the best offensive opportunity of the game for Niklas Edin, without question. So if you're just joining us, we have just learned that Rasmus Rana has had to leave the game, go and see a chiropractor, obviously suffering some back discomfort. Christopher Skundgren now on the brush. And now he will have to pivot, switch sides for directional sweeping. Very nice shot from Eriksson. Well, probably wanted a bit more contact on the raised stone.
Yeah, he could have had Laycock in a lot more trouble. There's a bit of a note for Laycock now.
Yeah. Needed another maybe half centimeter of curl. So this is the get out of jail opportunity now for Steve Laycock. Crucial shot here coming up for Sean Meacham. Team Laycock are still bailing out the boat here. Is this one going to over curl? Oh my goodness, just got the little tiniest of feathers. I thought for a minute it was just going to skate through the hole. Bit of good fortune from something that could have been quite ugly for Team Laycock. Leave themselves lying 1. Really short jump shot here for Team Edin. But the angles aren't great, Clayton. If Oscar plays the in-off of his own red on the left-hand side of the forefoot as we're looking at it from the overhead, yellow is looking almost certain to jam on the stone in the back forefoot. They call Oscar Eriksson the Professor. He got that nickname from a very early age because he was a really studious player, even from very early junior days. He'll take a lot of time looking at all the angles here. I think what they're looking at, Clayton, if they bang the front, is yellow going to jam on the red on the side? I think that's what they're worried about. Because if they do clear front on this shot, they do open things up and bring 3 or 4 back into play, but they do worry about jamming the stone on the side, and we can see Niklas Edin having another look at it. They do want to make a play on those front stones. Where is the shooter and the raised stone going to go? Well, we're about to find out. Eriksson.
We don't know where it's going. We just know it's going there in a hurry.
No doubt. There they go. And Eriksson safely navigates the granite in the house, leaves his own stone sitting squarely on the center line. But now the danger level has definitely increased for Steve Laycock. Yellow lying one, that stone belongs to Laycock, but it is absolutely surrounded.
He probably has to roll away a little bit.
Yeah, a couple of choices on this shot. You could roll it away a little bit on the wings, but maybe leave a double. Get a little bit frisky and go for the inside roll. Sit on top of your own, maybe make it hard for a double raise to double your own out. Let's see what Sean Macham has got for us.
I guess if you're really good or really lucky, you might be able to come across and push your one that's on the button to the one that's at the back of the forefoot.
Well, he does certainly reposition the stones, and that's a pretty good result. Leaves Edin lying 1-4. But importantly, I think the angles have made it difficult, if not impossible, for Edin to double them off on this shot at least. Good look from the hack end there on the left-hand side of our picture. You can just see, well, not quite the full rock. Certainly enough to make a play on it, no doubt about that. But he'll leave himself sitting in the open.
You don't think they'd try the run back?
Well, the run back is pretty tempting. You could go red run back and, really, if you're really frisky, try the thin double.
But I don't think there's a
Edin
bad
is the kind of player that can make that shot.
Yep. But I don't think there's a bad result. You'd get your shooter out of the way and at least open up those yellows in the forefoot or the button for you on your last one.
Eric, I'm definitely having a look at that shot now. I think you're right, Clayton. Red, even if you go red and then slam it straight onto the stone just on the edge of the button, changes the angles, probably opens up the center a little bit and keeps 2 or maybe 3 alive. So Oster really set this shot up with his previous shot when he double cleared the front and left his shooter sitting squarely on the center line just in front of the rings. So a couple of options here. You can go a little bit across face, drive the red into the second shot. A little bit high side. Double drive it into the shot rock. Tough shot either way, very precise striking location required here for Oskar Eriksson. They're going to curl enough. Well, there is the run. Does slam it into shot rock. Probably would have liked that one to roll maybe another quarter of a rock. Because now the straight back double is available for Steve Laycock, but it's not without risk.
And all of a sudden we have a blank in play.
Potentially. Been waiting a long time in this game for the first multiple point score for a team with hammer. But if Steve Laycock can double these stones off, we will have our 5th consecutive single point end. Question is, who's going to score? Four stones to come. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Jumped this one right out of hand. Is it going to overcurl? Well, jams. So as quickly as that. Is the 2 still alive for Niklas Edin? Doubles there. Will it go across the top of the one in the back is the question.
I don't think he can get it across the top with the speed I throw, but with the speed they throw.
Well, to get it across the top of the one in the back, he would have to hit about 3/4, and he'd have to hit it pretty hard. And then the question is, do you save your shooter if you do that? Seems to be also thinking, if we can't do that, what happens if we just kind of leave it in the back there as a bit of a jam? The play is definitely going to be a hit on the shot on the button. Going to hit it center line side. Can't catch the back stone thin, though, on the double takeout. Otherwise, it's jamming the one in the back 8 all day long. Team Niklas Edin down to 3 players. Rasmus Rana having to leave the game with an injury. Sundgren on it immediately. Oh, is this one going to overcurl? Yes, it did. Actually wound up not bad for Niklas. He got a bit of good fortune on that one, Clayton.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jammed the one in the back, but he set both stones in motion. And he left his own shot rock sitting directly in front of that stone in the back 12 foot. It's going to make it very difficult for Steve to make a play at it without killing his own. Taking a long look at that stone at the back, the bottom of our picture, on the right-hand side of our picture, one in the back 12 foot. They're wondering, is that one actually counting?
According to the overhead, it is, but.
Well, they've left it in play. They certainly haven't removed it from play. And they are taking a long look at that, and that is material. That could be the difference between playing for a force or kind of giving up a 2 unexpectedly. Players are taking a long, long look at it. You kind of want to know, is that one counting or not?
well, and they can actually measure that because it could be out of play.
That's exactly what they're doing, and that's a very savvy thing for Steve Laycock to ask for.
You don't often see a
saying is it in play, but what you're really trying to do is figure out if it's in scoring position or not.
It's out.
And well worth measuring. And that stone comes off. It was, in fact, out of play. So that removes the doubt. But still, potential 2 on the brew here for Niklas Edin. Looks to me like Steve wants to whip around that guard, Clayton.
It looks like that's what he's doing. I'm
not too many other good options, really, to be frank.
I thought maybe he could just do the double on the side and play the blank, but maybe he doesn't want that.
Well, maybe he's thinking that stone just short of the rings is too close to be splittable potentially for Niklas, and so electing instead to go around. Steve Laycock trying to duck around the guard just off the center line. Trying to engineer a force. Niklas is going to have some kind of shot coming back, Clayton, whether it's a raise or a follow down.
This has got a long way to curl to hide.
And well clear of that guard, sweeping it as far as they can to try and get any kind of cover they can, but maybe hiding a fraction. So a relatively straightforward shot coming up for Niklas Edin to get the first deuce of this game. Three-quarters of it available as we look at it from the delivery end. So you never want to say a shot is routine in this sport. But for Niklas, this represents the best chance he's had to open up a gap in this game. Not a gimme. I suspect he's probably going to be playing hack weight, board weight, somewhere around there.
That looks like it's got a lot of curling to do.
Sundgren immediately pivoting to the promote curl sweeping side.
Yeah, it looks good now.
Now good weight control there from Niklas Edin. Good sweeping from Sundgren, and it is a pair for Niklas Edin. Very entertaining end, and the first 2-point margin of this game. Niklas Edin now leads it 4-2 after 5.
Light up your love for curling with our customizable neon LED lights from Letterlands. Choose your new neon mixed doubles partner or make a statement with a neon curling rock in your window. Also actual Letterlands. Use discount code WHOA for 15% off. Only at Letterlands.com.
We asked Saskatchewan what they know about 5G.
More speed, more innovation.
It's gonna make our lives a whole heck of a lot easier.
This is what 5G looks like.
Better, faster. Sounds like one more G. Sounds pretty good.
I don't know what it means.
All you really need to know is the future of 5G is here and will continue improving through investments in network technology.
Swift Current is great because everybody that we do business with, we know on some sort of personal level.
What I love about Swift Current is the vibrant arts and culture community.
I really like Swift Current. We are not a big city, but the size of the city is really good, and we have everything.
Swift Current is a great sports town, great teams and great fans.
People say, good morning, hi, how are you, even though we don't know each other.
So with the impact to my business and income, will this delay my retirement?
I know you're worried, Marshall, but based on the original plan we came up with, you're only about 6 months behind.
I thought it would be years, not months.
You should feel good. Remember, you've got a plan.
Thanks.
With change comes questions. See the impact of your money decisions before you make them with RBC Wealth Plan.
A very warm welcome back to Swift Current. We've got a dandy, Niklas Edin versus Steve Laycock, multiple world and Olympic champion with the first 2-pointer of the game. Niklas Edin enjoying a 4-2 lead as we play end number 6. Rasmus Rana has had to leave the game with an injury. So Team Edin playing with 3 players. Clayton, the first time in the game we've seen some daylight between these teams.
Exactly. It's been a battle all along. Laycock will enjoy hopefully 2 hammers, or in his spot he enjoys the opportunity to have 2 hammers to Edin's 1 though.
Very good point. Laycock with control of the even ends. Now he's mentally thinking about, how do I get myself to an extra? Sundgren. Winner of this game will go on to face the winner of Marco Hosli and Riku Yanagisawa. That game going on simultaneously as this game is underway. Braden Grinheim. Nice little tap back, creating a little pocket of stones in the back of the forefoot. I think that's a good play from Steve Laycock. Tough team to chase, Niklas Edin. So doing what they can to try and manufacture a little bit of offense here. They're going to have to take some risks, I think, Clayton, and that's one of them.
Yeah, Dean's considering running the corner in there.
Oscar Eriksson being asked to do just that. He's going to make a play at that corner guard, try to run it into the pile. Just clips a corner of it. Does eliminate the guard, though. For Nicholas, that takes 3 out of play. Chris Hachert. So after the little bump tap to create a pocket, Edin rips the guard. Now Laycock being forced to either replace the guard or bring the play right into the forefoot area. He knows if he comes into the rings now, Nicholas is just going to blast, so he elects to put a guard back up right on the center line. Smart play, I think, Clayton.
Yeah, absolutely. Edin, I think he'll just play I don't think he's going to try to pick the one off the forefoot with it. I think he'll just open it up.
Eriksson being asked to clear the front. No mistake. Nicholas playing a patience game now, content to run front guards, knowing that at some point, probably on his last stone, that if Steve wants to get more than one, he's going to have to make a play into the rings. So it's a patience game for Niklas Edin. Equally a patience game for Steve Laycock. Sean Meacham being asked to replace that guard. This one sliding a little bit deeper, just short of the rings. Now Nicholas sees a corner and says, all right, we deal with it right now. Looks to me like he wants to make a play at the shooter, Clayton.
Yes, it does. I'm not sure if Oscar's on board yet.
Nicholas again looking at the center guard. Think about playing the center. I mean, you could just peel it off, sure. But if you play the pick, you over curl, you run the center anyways. So it's one of these A-B shots. Nice shot from Oscar Eriksson. Picks off shot rock. But now, good chance here for Steve Laycock. Cozy one up in front of those stones in the back 4 foot.
Yeah, I did think Edin wanted Oscar to get rid of one of those reds if he could at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Clayton. If he would have done that, that would have made it much, much tougher for Laycock to use them. Now there's quite a wide catcher's mitt pocket in the back of the 4 foot. Sweepers like the weight. We're saying it's top 4. It's going to slide probably T-line, maybe a little bit deeper. It's going to come all the way to the stone in the back. Nope, just going to sit just short. Oscar Erickson with a little sweep behind the 2 stones. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe just trying to keep warm. A good spot for that stone from Sean Meacham. No chance really for Niklas to chip that out. So he's going to have to follow it down. No real room for error at all here for Niklas. He's going to need to get right the nose, and he's probably going to need to nudge it maybe a centimeter. Tough shot. But if he could make this, really sets up a steal.
Yeah, if he makes this, there won't be a lot of room for anything else.
Exactly. Steve would kind of have to blast his own and run it in and kind of rearrange things and try to open up the button area if Niklas makes this shot. But even if he does that, Niklas gets this one all the way to nose. Even if Steve runs it in, he's going to leave Niklas's shot sitting right there in shot position. Christopher Sundgren, the solo brusher. Niklas now joining the sweep. Remember, Rasmus Rana had to leave this game with an injury. The team Edin playing with 3 players. Is this one going to be a foot light? Well, weight was great, just over curled a fraction. That curls quarter rock less. Steve's got nothing. But now those angles, Steve's got something. He can tickle the corner of that red and leave himself maybe lying 2 or at least sitting 1-3 with great angle. Setting up.
Yeah, I think the 1-2 is there for sure.
So Steve Laycock going to try and come down the same path that Niklas just threw. Probably quite similar weight as well. Probably the key shot of the game right here. If Steve can make, he's potentially right back in the game. If he doesn't, Niklas can kind of lock the door. Here we go. Here heavy, says Hatchert. Now it's starting to make a move. Now Niklas is over curl. This one's really making a move now. Can they hold it straight or they buy? No, they wreck the front. Oh my goodness. Have to call that some miscommunication and a sweeping error, I think, Clayton.
Yeah, unless that got a little bit of junk under it or something. Curled pretty hard when it stopped.
We saw Niklas's stone really make a hard move as well. Niklas is over curled, and I think the sweepers thought it had plenty of weight. Thought it was a touch heavy in anything, but net result, that stone is sitting just off the edge of the 4. The one delivered just by Laycock. Niklas Edin lying 1. Now they're trying to work out where can we put it where it's kind of a guaranteed force, and most importantly, where can we put it so that there's no chance that Steve can score 2. If you put it there, very difficult for Steve to get to. But if you go down there and try to freeze to your own, and you're half a rock heavy, maybe you'll leave a blast for potentially 3. If you play that stone that the Oscar's just got his brush on right now, take 3 out of the picture. It's pretty tempting to just follow your own down and throw the one you just threw, but I think it's risky if he tries it.
I like this shot. Takes 3 out of play.
Yeah, so they are going to make a play on the stones just delivered by Steve Laycock. Looking for a little bit of an inside roll. But mainly just wanting to make sure they remove the shot and not jam anything and leave Steve some kind of a crazy double to score 2. Entertaining 6th end. Steve Laycock with the hammer. Niklas Edin trying to set up a force here. Well, some urgency in the sweeping call. There's one's going to over curl. Oh, just gets it by the stone in the back. So, can Steve get enough of the red to move it and stick around and score 2? I think he can.
I think so.
Really needs to hit about 3/4 with back 8 weight, and he will get a 2. Just not an easy shot. There is a port there. Basically, if you get it through the hole with weight that is near to right, you're probably going to score 2. Steve Laycock lining up the final shot of end number 6. Playing a delicate tap through a port to try and score 2. First one over curled. Is this one going to curl enough? No, he wrecks on the front. That little bit of extra weight just tracked that stone straighter, so it will be a steal of 1 for Niklas Edin. Potentially decisive. Well, they're going to look at it. Let's not make the call too quickly. Certainly appeared from the overhead that Red was counting, and they appeared to have agreed on the score. We'll just wait for the official tally, but that will complete the 6th end. Niklas Edin leading this one over Steve Laycock here in Swift Current.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next curling stadium.
Well, what do y'all think? Too blue? Not blue enough? Try this.
Makes your eyes pop.
This could be our best yield yet.
And didn't we get this seed at a great financing rate?
Yeah, we did.
Iced tea? Great idea. Let's talk more about next year.
I got some thoughts.
And I've got some numbers.
Nutrien Financial, financing that's in the field with you.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Welcome back to Swift Current. Hans Fraunlub here along with Clayton Wicks. Our feature game, Niklas Edin versus Steve Laycock. And the sixth end, the differences in execution at this elite level are so fine. Clayton, Steve had a tough but makeable shot for two, wrecked the front, steal for Edin, 3-point swing.
Yeah, when it probably about 8 feet heavy on his weight was what was wrong.
So now Team Edin shift gears into defensive mode. They're playing in the seventh end.
Yeah, he's going to bring play into the house as quick as he can.
Yeah, playing against a team of Niklas's caliber. And Steve Laycock, terrific curler, and this is a terrific team. But you know that you're probably going to get one, maybe two opportunities in a game. And when you get them, you got to take them. And unfortunately for Steve, didn't quite take that opportunity in the sixth. And if there's any team in the world that you're trying to chase down from a 3-point deficit, Team Niklas Edin is not one of those teams that you want to try and close that kind of gap, because they are so lethal with the upweight shots and these delicate touch shots as well. Makes it very difficult to come back on a team like Niklas.
And you know, Laycock's kind of pulling out the stops. He throws up 2 corner guards with the first 2 shots, and that's the first time we saw 2 corners all game.
Yeah, at this point, you're going to need full or half misses from your opponent. Nice shot there. So Laycock's got the stones in front of the rings that he wants. But now the free guard zone part of the end is over. Well, Niklas Edin, if he chooses to, can start blasting away. Doesn't seem to be in any hurry to start ripping stuff, though. He's got his stones in the forefoot in a very, very handy position. And so rather than blast away, he's going to ask Oscar Eriksson to put another pillar in front of the fort. It's a bit of a sporting cliche, Clayton, but sometimes they say that the best defense is a good offense.
Yeah. Well, when you're talking about peeling the corners, until you look at it, those corners aren't easy to peel. If you peel them to the wings, then you're rolling to center, and if you try to peel the other way, you're running it through traffic. So
exactly right.
I think Edin will leave him alone.
So Eriksson makes the guard, covers the shooters, and gets a little bit of an overlap on that yellow center guard in the process. Game of cat and mouse here in end number 7. Chris Hatchert Trying to add a yellow rock into the party that's accumulating in front of the rings here. Well, it was partly overlapped before the guard. Now it is locked and welded overlap. So the two stones in the button area really well protected by that red-yellow overlap just in front of the 12-foot now.
I'm still surprised he's throwing rocks up top, though.
Well, I guess he's figuring, what's the worst outcome here? The worst outcome here is giving up 3. And I'm sure Niklas's calculation is
true.
Those two stones are actually really welded, and Steve's going to have to probably spend 2 or 3 shots to get rid of them. So if I just make that harder and harder and harder, I give up a 2, I'm still pretty happy. I steal, it's game over. And now you can see on the expression of Steve Laycock, uh-oh, what do we do? There is nothing that looks appetizing from these angles.
Yeah, run a corner in maybe.
It is definitely time to use those corner guards. I agree, Clayton. It's desperation time now. And so those are about the only stones on the sheet that are capable of getting something into the scoring area. You could tickle the stones in the front, but then you're just spending a stone, and you know that Niklas is going to come right back and guard it anyways. Very intriguing end, though. If you're a young curler watching this game and you're thinking about a way to defend a 3-point lead, this is a pretty good little recipe to look back on. Your opponent throws up a couple of corner guards and you just say, oh, well, I'll just ignore them. Bomb them into the button area, guard them up, and now you force your opponent to use those corner guards in a way that he probably wasn't hoping to use them.
Right. Yeah, when you're talking the 3-point lead, most players, when they get the 3-point lead, get in 10-7 and they're blasting everything in sight and end up giving up a 3 or 4-ender in the end.
Yep, that's exactly right, Clayton. Not the usual end that you see up 3, but so far, quite effective for Niklas Edin. So it will be the angle run for Sean Meacham. About a 15-footer. Has to be really precise to stick it on the stones in the button area. Well, he does at least unlock the stone on the center line in front of the rings. So it wasn't really what he was looking for, but he did get something out of the shot at least.
I'm a little surprised they use that much weight to try and do that, but that's what they do.
It's interesting. I mean, now if you're Niklas, you could decide to switch gears and just run the other corner, and I think that's what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the only usable shot that Steve has right now. I like this call. There's nothing that Steve can use on the center guards to run straight back. So you get rid of the only stone that's really threatening you in any way, and that's the corner guard. So corner guard removed. Leaves his own red sitting out there. I think he was looking for an inside roll, got an outside roll. So now there is a chance for Steve to use that outside red to run in, but you never want to be running in your opponent's stones.
And Steve's only got 3 rocks left, and he's trying to figure out how he can use them all as counters.
Well, that is the challenge, and he knows that if he doesn't score 2, he's basically toast. So not only does he have to kind of score, but he needs to score multiples. Steve knows that better than anybody. I don't mind that play. I think playing the yellow onto the red, trying to spill the yellow onto the rings for third shot, might be the best shot that Steve's got at trying to get a 2 out of this mess. Open up the front a little bit. Maybe give yourselves a chance to make a double on those shot rocks later in the end. Desperation stuff, though,
I think
for Team
he's playing-
Laycock.
Yeah.
So didn't get the action he was looking for on that Yellowstone. Does line them up a little bit better for a red-yellow run back. But remember, one's not really going to get the job done for Steve Laycock. So Team Edin lying 3. Partly guarded already. And the obvious and sensible shot is just overlap and stack another guard up in front of the shot rocks. And then say to Steve Laycock, over to you. Niklas Edin. Team Edin playing with 3 players. Rasmus Rana left the game at the end of the 4th end with an injury. We hope that Rasmus is okay, but you got to say, since Rasmus left the game, Team Edin has not missed a beat. Looking to hide a corner and get a little bit of an overlap on that run back. And that is perfect. Great shot. Position A, really. Fully covers the shot rocks. What do you think he's got, Clayton? Not much by the looks of it.
Yeah. What's next? I remember somebody asking Russ Howard that once. He said, "What's next?" He said, "Start the car."
Yeah, it is not a very happy place here for Steve Laycock. Down 3. Your opponent is lying 3, 2 of them almost perfectly guarded. You know you need at least a pair.
That pick double is his only prayer of trying to come out with something. And
I mean, is he trying a really thin in-off on that corner guard, Clayton?
I believe so.
Well, earlier in the game, I talked about an Al Hackner shot. I mean, this would be the Al Hackner shot. Redirect off the corner guard and careen it into the stones in the button area. If that's what he's playing, it'll be a circus shot if he makes it. Here we go. It's a heater.
He's not a mile away.
Oh, that would have been fun. But zips it by. So now I do think you can kind of get the car warmed up.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to see Steve Laycock scoring 2 from here. No, it's not really hard to see Steve Laycock scoring 2 from here. It's impossible.
I would think Laycock missed that shot by maybe half an inch.
Well, the angles and the shot that he was trying, the only contact he could get on that corner guard to make the shot would be maybe a millimeter of the stone.
Right.
Just would have had to graze it.
Yeah, and I said a half an inch. It was probably a quarter.
Yeah, it was really, really. It's one of those shots that if you threw it 100 times in practice, you might make it once. Niklas Edin, on the other hand, has a much higher percentage shot here. Just throwing another one in there. Clear the guards. And perfect. Niklas Edin welding it front forefoot. And I think Steve Laycock might just say that's enough.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. He does offer a handshake. No chance at all for Steve Laycock to score there on end number 7, so they concede. Niklas Edin with an impressive win. One player short as Rasmus Rana went down with an injury, but Steve Laycock concedes and Niklas Edin advances in this bracket. Been a very entertaining game from Swift Current. Clayton, any final thoughts?
No, it was a great game. The scoreboard doesn't show it when they quit. I mean, he had to gamble really hard in 7, and he did, and it didn't work for him, but it was a great game all the way through.
So, final score, Niklas Edin 5, Steve Laycock 2, our final score in Swift Current. Thanks very much for joining us, and please come back for more fantastic curling action from Swift Current.
We feed the world with Nutrien, and a large portion of what our job is to get fertilizer out with the carriers so they can get directed to the farms or to the different retail locations. We know that if we don't have the answer to something, we're not afraid to reach out because we have support from everyone. We've got a really good team behind us.
SaskTel Be Kind Online wants to stop cyberbullying. Want in on the action? We award up to $1,000 for youth initiatives that help spread kindness and prevent bullying. What great idea do you have to help stop bullying? SaskTel can help. Go to BeKindOnline.com and apply for a grant today. Together, we can make a difference.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.